G'day everybody, and welcome back for some more Stationeers brutal start on Vulcan, where it is rather early in my real world morning, because today's stream time is going to be shifted just shy of an hour earlier, as I've got a carpenter coming to look at my rotten stairs. And I couldn't figure out a better time, so I was like, I don't want to play less Stationeers, so I'm going to start playing Stationeers earlier in the morning. And sure, that seems like a great idea. It is still very dark outside. I cannot see any hint of the sun in the sky at all. But yeah, it just fell night in the save, so it's a bit of an annoying time to have my suit off, but I do have some rather gross hygiene things going on, so I kind of needed to get the suit off for a bit. I was trying to remember where I was up to last week in terms of what I was going to be doing next. And one of the things I do think I need to spend a bit of effort on today in-game is getting the solar panels and adding a few more of them to get a bit more power coming in, because I've got a few extra little bits of power consumption that are consistently going on around here that I didn't have when I first added the solar in. So I think it would be a good idea for me to try and boost that a little bit, especially with my drill running, my centrifuge running, just still doing that reagent mix. Oh no, it's got dirty ore! Yay! Awesome. Great. At some point today, the centrifuge will be full. Awesome. Cool. So my hope was to expand this system so that I can get more manual output from the centrifuges, get more centrifuges running, so that I think if I focus on that as my goal, and I'm just basically staring at darkness right now. Yeah, mood still not great, but let's have some light. Yeah, I know air tanks... Whoops, don't close your helmet. I know air tanks critical. I needed the light. So I think if I focus on expanding my mining output, that's probably where my best efforts are. Kaput. I think. And thank you, Dr. Lenny. Thank you for the 11 months. And thank you, Chipsticks, for all the mods and everything else. And thank you for 32 months. Thank you, Shiro, for 20 months and 5 gift subs. Thank you very, very much. And Krazil for 47 months of Prime. And Kasekman for 3 months. And an anonymous gifter giving Shadow Drake a sub. And Shadow Drake for giving me a stream title that didn't suck. Why am I jeez. I had a lot of potatoes lying around on the floor. I'm gonna put them here. I'm not gonna remember that they're here, but I'm gonna put them here. Oh, actually, I can set up my airlock so stuff doesn't move around now. I can do that. I'm honestly not worried about having a fridge right now. Fridge is a decent power consumer, and I don't really need one. I've got more food than I can actually use. So I'm not worried about any of it rotting. I don't think it matters. I mean, airlocks don't have to move stuff, but if you want them to be quick, they kind of do. Or you have to set up, like, pre-pressurized things. Don't you roll off the table again? Stay. There we go. So, if I grab my disc out, because this is now my main airlock, and I set the external pressure back down to 0, because that was just annoying. And the internal pressure, I'll try 15. It's not much, but maybe it's enough to not have too much air moving around when it operates. In fact, I could try it. I run it from here. Let's see how much stuff moves around. Okay, we've gone out. And then as we come in is usually the problem. There's a bit of movement. And has knocked the potatoes off the table. Nuts. It's going to be too slow if I make it fill it up any more than that. Yeah, cooked potatoes don't seem to like to stay still. Thanks, John Jay. Thank you for 29 months. And thank you, Morbus, for the Prime sub. Bring Capac into the save, then you won't have enough food. Valid. I wonder... Could I... I'm tempted to try and make this airlock work better. But I think the only way to really make a big difference with it is to actually make a fully scripted airlock. The reason I'm thinking about that is... Actually, let's go outside. Oh, hang on. I'll have a drink before I do that. So I think I've got the perfect place to demonstrate why I don't think you can improve this one that much beyond where it's at. So, because the airlock is operating on active vents and has to, I run into the same problem I've got out here, where my gas tank empties really slowly through the active vent, but could empty really quickly through a passive vent. So I will run into, what am I doing? I will run into that problem where I can't actually empty it fast enough because the active vent is going to limit how quickly it can fill. Or rather empty, no matter the pressure that I've put up against it. But maybe because it's only a single cube volume, I can put a high pressurized enough inline tank that it could work anyway. So maybe it'd be worth giving it a shot regardless. All right. I'll think about that as I go, but what I want to do basically is make a pressurized line here for this active vent and see if I can make this airlock where I can actually set the internal pressure to be something decent rather than having to always have it super low to make the airlock be relatively quick. How much more place? I've got quite a lot of room for solar panels up here. I need to get more gold and copper, and what else do I need for those solar panels? Gold, copper, and steel. How much steel do I have? Doesn't extending the pipe network help with that? It would to an extent, yes. In fact, it probably would help a little bit here regardless if I just added an inline tank to that. One of the things I also like about having a pre-pressurized line is that you'll see smaller pressure swings in here because you're effectively increasing the overall volume. So what do we got in here? We got a little bit of iron, tiny bit of gold. Not much there at all. I did make a decent batch of steel last week, so that's good. Got 26 gold. And how much copper? Do I have any copper? It doesn't look like it. We got any copper in there? Got 150, so that... Okay, I can make a few solar panels up pretty quickly. So let's go melt some copper. Got copper, I've got steel, and I've got a little bit of gold, but I can do a bit more gold now anyway. Alright, let's do it. Alright, have you got anything in you? I don't want to do my dumb thing again. Any plans to eliminate the forage? Yes, I do. I want to put up the small shelves like I did in my Venus save because I really like that look. I think it works quite nicely. Oh! Oh, I know what I should be aiming for today. Alright, let's see how we go with getting more mining and more power, but I should probably be building an advanced furnace and a proper furnace setup. All it took was me staring at this and going, yeah, I really don't like this furnace. That'll do. Should be low enough. Yep. Okay, and we are going to need more gold, so let's get more gold. Done. This is going to be... This will get hot, and it might get... Oh, it's hot enough outside anyway for the iron. So I'll smelt a bit of iron too. Why the early stream today? Some of my deck stairs are rotting. Quite badly. To the extent that my other half is constantly worried that the way that I tend to slightly bound down them, I'm going to break through them and break my ankle. Which is actually quite a reasonable concern. So I've got a carpenter coming around to give a quote on getting them fixed. Annoyingly, they are not standard size. And I am not, let's say diligent enough with my handyman work to feel like I'm the one who should be doing them. One of the sets, I think I'd be confident, but the other one interfaces awkwardly with the architraves around one of our doors, around our door, so... I don't want to make the whole outside of the house really, really ugly because I screwed it up. They're also, the step length is really weird. So they need to be custom done anyway. And I know I won't do that well. So I figured, since I really wanted to keep playing this save, because I've been really enjoying myself, and I didn't want to play just a short bit today, I would start early so that I could still play as much as I normally do, but just at a slightly different time of day. How many of these can I get? I think I can get 10 more solar panels. That's very nice. Now, where's my silicon at? There it is. Let's get some glass sheets because I'll need those. It's actually really nice having the regular solar panels and not worrying about building heavies. Heavies are a pain. Oh, I already had plenty of glass. Oh well. Like heavies, particularly this early on, heavy solar panels are really, they take a lot. No, Takari, I don't think the battery is where my efforts should lie at this point. I think I need to make sure that I'm managing my inputs to match my outputs or exceed them, and then because I'm not relying on storm power, the battery just needs to last the night. So I only need whatever I need to get through a night, and that's nowhere near as much as I did on Venus, where I had to last between storms. Pay the carpenter so you can do more sponsored streams to pay the carpenter. Yeah, kinda. I mean, to me, it sort of... If I could get enough sponsored streams that I could pay the carpenter to do the work, I'm going to get a better result, probably. Like, the guy that I found has, like, ridiculously positive and not remotely AI-generated sounding reviews from people who have multiple reviews under the name, so it didn't look like super dodge, and over, like, 4 years. He'll do a better job than I can. Much better job. Also, what do the big station batteries require? Stellite. Yeah. Honestly, I think I'm gonna kick that can down the road. I might add some more small ones, but going for big ones, nah. That's a can to kick down the road, because I need to have a furnace set up, I need to have all those other things to do that nicely. And what I really want is a lot more resources coming in, so I don't have to be mining out there during the day. It's true. Power. I have said I'd be thinking about Stirling engines. What does Stirlings require? Nothing fancy. Maybe I set up myself a little test arena for a Stirling engine. Because if I can get an automated Stirling engine working, that could be quite a good extra bit of power. Alright. Yeah. Let's get these solar panels installed. And I'm gonna try and mess with a Stirling engine for power. Because what could possibly go wrong? Also, I'm sick of falling through this hole. Yep. In my hardcore mode, survival save, where if I die, I die, I'm going to mess with Stirling engines. Oh boy. Why am I like this? Oh wow, I am more than doubling my number of panels. Cool. Or I am doubling it. Yeah, nice. So I should have plenty of power to mess around with, to allow me to mess around with the Stirling engines without much fear of running out. It's good. And I know you guys have wanted me to mess with Stirling engines, so I feel this kind of just works out. I haven't looked at Stirling engines since a save I did on Mars. What was it, like 3 years ago? It was a long time ago. So this is going to be like I haven't looked at them even offline. Like I haven't looked at them at all. I'm going to go over here while it's... How hot is this again? Do I... 2.91 megapascals. Woof. That's hot. That can go in, and this pump can go off because I was reminded that I didn't need to leave that on and consuming power, because that is power hungry. I do like having devices just left on a lot of the time because it means if I'm paying attention, I know when I'm running low on power. And because I know that I'm going to forget and leave stuff on, I probably want to make sure that I have enough power production to manage that level of stuff. Let's have something to eat and drink. Oh, actually make cables from the remaining copper, because there's a bit of copper left. Yeah, I deliberately left the outside vent on. My hope was that I would get enough cables before it became daylight, so I would go back outside and switch it off before I go and place these cables to get the solar panels properly hooked up. Am I doing anything to prepare for the upcoming terrain update? No. Would it? I don't think there's anything to prepare. As soon as it comes, I want to play some brand new, fresh playthroughs. Do. Okay. It's not starting to get light out yet. But that's a full stack, so let's go. Still thinking Mars for next playthrough? No. No, I'm not. I mean, sort of. There are a couple of things I'm thinking about with when the terrain update comes. I've actually quite liked Vulcan as a place to make a base. I like the dramatic skybox with the black hole. It's kind of cool. The rapidly changing environment from super hot to not super hot, I think adds some interest. It makes things feel more dynamic. So Vulcan's actually quite high up my list now. But I'm also possibly going to be playing both a stream series and a recorded one if I can find a time to record with Capac. It all depends on really when the terrain update lands as to what my real plans with it will be. I want to have... I'd really like to play with Capac, and if I'm going to play with Capac, I think the two of us should play on Mars. Because I think we'll have more fun. I don't want to be in a resource-starved position for too long when playing with him, because I think we'll have more fun if we do it that way. What did I suggest to him? I wrote it down. Oh yeah, I do have an exit plan for us, like a completion goal for us for Mars as well. And I think would suit the two of us quite nicely and allow us to be like, yep, this is how long this took us to do this, and we did it, and cool. Now we can play some other games for a bit. Yeah, possibly thinking of just doing that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do as the streamed stuff, because I'm really enjoying Stationeers at the moment, and have been for the last many months. Uh-oh, I'm also out of power. That's unfortunate. Lucky, I've got more solar panels. Already made. Yeah, it was the air cannon series that made me want to play just Capac and I for a bit in Stationeers, because we hadn't for so long. For those unfamiliar with what the air cannon series is, Capac and I played on a modified version of Europa that I made that had all the Lulan wreckage in it, which isn't possible anymore, but was then. And while we were playing with that, at the end of each stream day, we would build an air cannon to launch stuff at each other and basically murder each other using different means of propelling basically shot at each other. My clock has not changed. It is early for practical, external to gaming reasons. Do love the glow on the horizon too. Like, I suspect that may not be part of Vulcan, but in the terrain update, but it'll be interesting to find out. All right. I think... Do you know what I reckon I should do? And I know this is kind of against a lot of principles of airlock design, but because this airlock doesn't get used much, I'm tempted to run these off the airlock battery. So I don't need to set up another thing for it, because I'm always going to have the airlock set up anyway. Yeah. How will I cable to it, though, without making an absolute mess of things? Because if I'm going to put another row of solar panels here, I'm going to have heavy cable running up along the edge here to feed those solar panels. So I'm going to have to go over the heavy cable somewhere. I guess I could just go up and over here. Like, just go up, over, in there. Could work. I'm going to have to manually align these. This is also, I think, the point in the seasons where my solar doesn't do as much. Which is probably why I'm running out of power too. There we go. Now they're all properly tracking. That's all I needed to do. Oh yeah. If that doesn't get a lot higher, they are very much being blocked. 164 at the back one versus 415 at the front one. Thanks, Fluorescent Ninja. Thank you for 26 months. Yeah, exactly. That was my thinking. There's no great problem if the battery inside this airlock dies. How hard will it be to cable out of here with where I've done things? I'm gonna have to go like up around like that. I don't want to redo everything else. And I don't want to redo everything else. There you go. So that should be able to go along to there, which means I can then remove the stuff that's outside. So let's remove the outside bit. I think I've got it running down. Oh no! I have to break it on the inside. Oh, I needed to go inside anyway because I need more cables than that's going to give me. Gotta love Vulcan winter, longer nights and short days. Yep. Yeah, Daz, I've never bothered putting a specific reset point into my solar script. I probably won't. I know you can set it up so that it'll, like, if you find out exactly where your, or roughly where your dawn will be on whichever planet you're at, you can put a line in your script so that once the solar panels stop producing daylight, or once it gets below a certain angle, move the solar panels to here and then wait till the solar angle changes. That all sounds really complicated. And if I'm going to put my energy, my limited programming energy into a project, what I've been thinking about this week, because a few comments have come up about my airlock issues, is prepping myself for 1 week writing my own airlock script. So that I can have a custom airlock script that then I can use in different playthroughs for various things, but writing something that hopefully is reusable with different equipment. So I have it set up so that I can change what equipment I'm using and upgrade it from regular vents to powered vents and things like that, and just have a script that is mine that works, that I know I've made. Because I don't like using just people's scripts off the workshop. Having put the effort into learning how to do these things, I feel like I should just use my own. Can I reach that? Yep. Yeah, having a go what the previous day's sunrise, sunset was, that sounds complex. That sounds more complicated than I want to deal with. I'm taking that one out and that one out, and then that needs to go like that. No, it doesn't. That's not right. That needs to go there, then a car. Oh, waste tank caution.
Air tank low.
We'll be okay. Maybe. Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh, no good. Still have more. Alright, that was not an ideal time of day to do that. I should not have disconnected the solar during the day, but, oh, it's done now. Let's get inside, because it is hot. And then I can start looking at what I need to make these Stirlings. Make a Stirling. And I'm going to need pumps. I'm going to need IC chips, probably. I genuinely don't have enough knowledge about what I really need. Right, that goes in there. That goes in there. That goes in there. Wouldn't you just need a function that when vertical angle greater than whatever, and set vertical angle to 15? No, because you also need the horizontal component, so it's set up for the horizontal part, because otherwise you'll end up with the thing facing the wrong way. Okay. So, Stirling engine, electronics printer. I'm probably going to need to go find some more copper. So I have used it all up. Yes. Alright, so I'm going to need more cable anyway, so let's make that. And then I'm going to have to go out mining. But I'm going to wait till nightfall to do any mining. Since my power is dire, I will do the thing I dislike doing, which is turn off the machines. Alright. Battery is at yellow, so at least that's better than it was, I think. But yeah, I think for a safety thing on a solar setup with tracking, honestly, just having a battery is enough, rather than worrying about having the solar panels set up so that they meet the dawn. Just have a battery set up so that they always have enough power to get through the night. And if that battery is feeding off your base, your chances of that battery running out are pretty low. Daz, that was precisely my intent on making my chat bot, not Nightbot anymore, and making my own. Was precisely for that effect. That people would be happy to see Reggie's name pop up in chat, while also giving me a lot more control over what it does. Oh yeah, Kaziman, if you have fun writing the script to make your, to make things work, then that's the right way to do it. If you are playing a game and you are having fun, then you are doing it... Well, no, there's one caveat I need to say. If you're playing a game and you and everyone else you're playing with are having fun, then you're playing it the right way. If you're playing a game and you're the only one having fun and no one else is, probably not playing it the right way. Ratio of centrifuges to miners is not what I'm doing. I have got it not right. Because I'm not worrying about it. I'm just at least getting something. Getting something was my goal last week. Getting enough power to run everything is my goal this week. Silicon. Ah, there's more copper. I figure I probably want to have a bit of a backlog of ore to be processed in the centrifuges, because centrifuges require a fair bit of power. So do the miners, but I'm not sure what the difference is between the two. I got the impression that the centrifuges required more power. And so you probably want them operating at 100% efficiency. But someone in chat can correct me on that if I'm wrong. Yeah. Build more centrifuges until the dirty ore empties out, then go back and build more miners. Pretty much the way I plan to do this. And if at some point I'm just swimming in ores, then I've got enough. Because I don't want to be down here mining anymore. I want this to not be a thing. Yeah, I just don't have an easy set. I'd have to do some more setup to make it so that I can easily fill the pneumatic drill. So I'm just using this. It was a bit quicker, but it's not so dramatic that this doesn't feel that bad. Also, wasn't intending to do a huge amount of mining down here. Just wanted to get enough copper that I can build this Stirling setup. I figured I should grab a couple of the other bits just in case I need them for something. Should also probably grab some more of you while I see it. This feels less like drilling and more like voxel vacuuming. Yeah. Yep, I'd say that's accurate. Voxel vacuuming. The alliteration makes it fun. Yes, if you are carrying the terrain manipulator canister things, then yes, it really is voxel vacuuming. Alright, I've got 100 iron, got nearly 100 copper. It's not daylight. So let's just see if there's a bit more copper somewhere I can find easily. Like this bit. And fall down a hole with a bright bit at the bottom of the chasm. That's not terrifying. Jetpack low. Okay, that's not good. Well, if I'm gonna have to fill up my jetpack, I can then fill up the pneumatic drill at the same time.
Jetpack low.
Yeah, I know, Suit Lady, I know. I should probably fill up my jetpack at night, because it does feel better. I can see this copper and it's making it hard to leave. Well, unless I try and make a whole lot more solar panels in a hurry, this copper will last me a little bit. So I could get another 5 solar panels from this. And that is tempting. Especially as I don't know how... Dang it. How deep in winter I am. And how much shorter the days get. Well, you say it's not worth it, but my thinking was the more solar panels I have, the less impact I feel from the short days. If I've got enough solar to deal with it with short days. This is what I was doing.
Jetpack critical.
2.2. 5. Yeah, that'll do. And that'll do for the pneumatic drill. Okay, did the thing. It's filled up. Copper. It's not going to be hot enough for the copper, but I will smelt it anyway. Want another wind turbine or two? They really don't do much outside the storms. That's the main reason. Like, they're not... Wind turbines don't really produce a lot of power. How does the pneumatic drill compare to the other drills? I feel like it's somewhere in between the regular drill and the heavy drill in terms of speed. Closer to the heavy drill end is my feeling. Whether that's accurate or not, yes. But yeah, that's where I feel it is. I really need to remember to vent that out before I do things that way. I think when you start to see close to 1,000 Celsius, you're in peak winter. Ooh. So, it's probably not worth it. But there's part of me that's like, storing that? Making a big tank for storing that level of energy? Like 1,000 degrees Celsius external temperatures, storing it for smelting throughout the rest of the year. So you don't have to use any energy or any gas inputs for most things. Yes, Stationeers is on Steam. That is the only place you will find it. I was paused and silent for a moment there because I was trying to figure out what chat was saying. Yeah, Kaziman, if the pneumatic drill is only faster than the heavy drill when it's over 6 megapascals, and if you're anything like me, you will not be operating at that most of the time, it's going to be slower than the heavy drill. So it's going to be slightly worse than it most of the time. Or, on average, it's going to be worse. The user experience will be worse. I need it hotter than this. Actually, maybe I don't. I think this is almost copper melting. What is copper melting temperatures? I can't remember. It's pretty low. 327. Yeah, it is copper melting. I just need to get more pressure. Which helps if I bring air in rather than out. In we go. Because it is getting too hot to stay outside. I've been deliberately avoiding using my gases for I've been deliberately avoiding using my off gases from gold and silver unless I really need to use them. Because the more I can save those for when I need them for something in a hurry, the better. Although admittedly I have been wasting them as well because I've been just throwing them away when I need the gold. So, you know, That's my intent, but the actual outcome is different. What does the Stirling engine require apart from... this? So, Stirling engine needs steel sheets and electronic parts. Okay. Easy enough. So I'm thinking this thing might explode. Therefore, I should probably, wherever I set it up, make it away from everything else. Just for that tiny little possibility that I might survive. I need iron. Where did I put... is the iron over here? Did I put iron down over here? Yeah, I did. Oh, I need iron for both of these things. I'll put it in this first. Then pop that out. No, I'm not putting my Stirling engine in my habitation room. No. I may do silly things, but I try to avoid being intentionally daft. I mean, sure, I still get it wrong, but I do try to avoid being intentionally daft. Okay, so I need a filter system. Which means I need an atmospherics kit, which I don't think I have lying around here anywhere. So I'm going to need to make one, because for this working fluid, gas, whatever, in the Stirling engine, I think I would like to not have... I think I'd like to have it as just clean volatiles. So I want to get that made, which means I need stuff from this, so let's just pop everything out. Atmo. I'm not sure that it really matters. I just clearly picked up the wrong thing then. Picked up the steel instead of the iron. Yeah, an Atmo kit. And I might just have basic vents on this because I'm not too fussed about speed. In fact, slower speed is probably better. So that I can ensure that the canister has a little... only... oh, I should make a pressure valve as well. Pressure regulator. So pressure regulator, Atmos kit. Need a few vents, and I've got one on the floor here at least. Don't see any others. I think that's a power controller. Yeah. Vent. I can't print smart canisters yet. I don't have the printer for it. So I've got the vents. I need to have a filter, because I don't want to steal the one from the other thing. So volatiles filter. And then some pipe. And because I'm doing this all outside, I don't need fancy pipe, but I think I'm going to make fancy pipe anyway, because I'm more likely to use it later. How far off an advanced furnace are you? I have no idea. I could probably make one relatively quickly, but I think sorting out power generation and learning how, seeing how much I can get out of the Stirling engine, and then trying to write a script for that is probably the more Vulcan specific and Vulcan useful thing that I can do. Thanks, Mikey Double. Thank you for the 5 months. I reckon... Yeah, I reckon that's enough pipe for now. And the sun is going down, so I'll be able to go outside shortly. I will be right back. Just going to take a quick bio break, and then we can get onto this mining. Mining? No, building Stirling engine and filtering gas for Stirling engine and stuff. Yeah, I'll be right back. Yeah, Dr. Drago, you can upgrade normal pipes to the insulated ones using the pipe installation stuff. That is valid. So I could use regular pipes and then upgrade them, but it is ever so slightly cheaper to do it just by building the proper ones to begin with. Alright, let's go outside while it's safe. No! Didn't bring the pipes I need for the atmospherics kit. Where am I going to put it as well? I don't have a lot of space around here. I think I'm going to have to make... I'm going to have to make more frames. This isn't going to work. At all. Not enough room! Iron wall, iron wall. Alright, steel. Where's my steel? Yes, I did finally turn off the pump to the landing pad. Am I going to automate the advanced furnace? No. It's just not a project that interests me. Automating the advanced furnace. It's kind of like automating, oh, there was something else that I'm just not interested in doing in this. Actually, I think it's just the furnace. I think it's the furnace that I was always just like, nah. The amount of weird conveying and nonsense you need for that, it just doesn't actually interest me. It feels like something that's really quite difficult to do, and I quite like the little almost mini game of getting your pressures and temperatures to the right levels. I've always quite enjoyed it. There we go, the loo. Should be... Oh, no, pipes. Can't forget the pipes. Or the Atmo kit. There we go.
Hunger caution.
Yeah, the messing with the knobs, the dials, it's just kind of, it's satisfying to me. Getting those right temperatures and pressures, especially in like a combustion furnace versus the hot gas furnace that I built on Venus. A combustion furnace, I think it's quite... I just quite liked getting the right amount of fuel in and all that sort of stuff. Made me happy. There's a middle ground of just automating to adapt to this temperature and pressure. Thanks, Gum. Thank you for the 15 months. That's tier 2. I had a feeling your first comment was meant to come through that way. I was looking at it going, I'll just wait. I'm pretty sure it'll happen. Yeah, I was thinking about Roadcraft. Actually I did quite like it. Did quite enjoy myself. Just said at the time, because it is sort of better suited to me than some other people. Unfiltered. And I don't know why I built 3 of these, but that's fine. I do like cranes. I do not deny this. Oh wait, I do probably want that. I'll come back and grab. I do want that vent, actually. Eventually. So, pressure regulator. Go there. Oh, I need a tank filler. I need one of the utility kits, which I've got inside. Passive vent pass through. Hmm? Oh, pass through for a wall. Yeah, that's what that is. I forgot they existed too. And I'll chuck that there.
Power low.
That third challenge is a lot more of the stuff you might like. Recycling materials to make new stuff, access to a sand pit and dump truck, multiple pieces of equipment. Yeah. If the multiplayer works, yeah, I think I can just say if the multiplayer works, I think it'll be quite good. I think I did learn some useful lessons from SnowRunner in that if you're going to play something that is meant to be co-op, make sure the game actually, first of all, works, but also has reasons to actually play cooperatively. Like, I remember being very frustrated with Capac and Wasted that we weren't actually playing cooperatively. Capac more so than Wasted. Wasted was trying, but there just wasn't anything there. And I think that was unfair. I think the frustration was more at the game not actually needing cooperative play 99% of the time. While Roadcraft seems to... the missions that they have in the demo seem to be better suited to actually playing cooperatively. Because there are multiple things that need to be done to a thing. And it doesn't have to just be done in a linear sequence for all of it. You can have someone... It is a linear sequence that you have to build up a road, but you can have someone building the next bit of road while you're working on the first bit, that sort of thing. I'm here staring at this for a reason, and I've forgotten what it is already. Because I'm staring at the wrong machine, that's why. I want to make cable coils while I get myself fed and watered. Thanks, Holman. Thank you for 29 months. But yeah, the Roadcraft does seem to fix quite a number of the problems that I found annoying. Assuming its netcode actually lets people connect. Will admit, it was a bit strange. And I did have a few moments of doubt accepting a sponsored stream for it, but I'm kind of glad I did because the game actually was fun. And ooh, my filter's almost out. And I did actually enjoy myself. Right, that's probably enough cable for a bit. I don't want to go out in the daylight, but I think I'm going to have to. I want to get any of this done. I'll see just how hot it is out there. I get the feeling that one of the better options for a Vulcan playthrough is to try and beeline for a hard suit by the time you are in winter. Because it gets hot and probably want to have, you know, something better by this point. No. Okay. Now I can put that in there, and that frees up an inventory slot. Then we go this. And I forgot to bring stuff with me that I needed to bring with me. Great. Still forgot a thing. Right, that gives it a little bit of pipe volume on that, so that's going to be safer. Haven't missed any disasters today, if that's what you're asking. I haven't made any terrible errors, but unless you count my decision to try and build a Stirling engine a terrible error. Which it could be. Definitely could be considered a terrible error. Okay, so we need a working gas. And then I need to put... Then I need a system for this, which is going to be effectively the inverse of what I create for the cooling setup. Something that's going to bring the... keep the hot gas and dump the cool. I'm going back inside, it's too hot. You were watching someone do the roadway mission in co-op yesterday and it looked like it worked pretty well. Cool. Yeah. Okay, we've got a little bit of stuff. I'm gonna wait till I get the Stirling engine running before I attempt to build more centrifuges, because I think the centrifuges are a big part of why the centrifuge and mining drill, deep miner, are probably a large part of why my power was iffy. Though my power's looking really good now. Back to almost full. So, if I want to have cool gas for the Stirling engine, I'm thinking my approach might want to be to have a bunch of... I'm thinking inline tanks for storage rather than a large tank. My thinking on that is the large tank is harder to get the gas out of. And it's not that hard to get it into, but it's hard to get out of. Because it's slower, because it has to equalize with the pipe network. So I need a pipe network that's got inline tanks anyway. So when I fill it with hot gas, and then that gas starts to cool, I want to then ditch that gas once it's cool really quickly, so I can fill it up again really quickly. See, I think I'll use utility kits for now. Thanks, Crassus. Thank you for 37 months. Yeah, so my understanding of the Stirling engine is that what I need is the hottest gas I can get working against the coolest gas I can get. So that I've got the greatest temperature differential between the two mediums. If I have the daytime hot gas from Vulcan working against the nighttime gas, that's going to give me the greatest amount of power. So the nice thing about the Stirling engine on Vulcan is it's going to be working best when the solar is working its worst. I don't think... I thought the engine, the Stirling engine, works by radiating into its local area, but I'm not certain. I'll have to check if there's another input on it. But I thought there was just the one. And that's where you want the hottest gas stored that you can get. And... I'm going to need an active vent as well. I don't think I have one. No. Oh, I need you too. Don't forget you. Yeah, pump hot gas in, cooled by environment. Yeah, that's what I thought. Thanks, Blazer. Thank you for the prime sub. Oops. That I need to bring with me as well. Alright, we'll stick with 8 for now and get an active vent. Which needs some copper. It's in here. Alright, active vent. What else do I need? I think that's all. I'm sure there's more. That's all I can think of for now. And where did I leave my suit? Does anyone remember where I left my suit? Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Oh, EVA suit. There we go. Helmet should be somewhere nearby then. There we go.
Waste tank critical. Air tank critical. Oxygen low.
Yes, Eisen. Where is my super suit? Not very super suit, this one. I do have some lights. I just don't have enough. I just don't have enough of them, and I keep forgetting to take my suit off in front of one of them. Which is probably what I should do, because it will stop that being a problem. Because if I take it off in front of the light, then I'm all good. So we've got output, and we've got input. Okay, so I'm going to need another... well, let's make the working medium first. I'll just chuck that down. And we need this. And 50 kPa. No, we're going to set that to 0, and I'm going to very slowly increase it until I'm happy with how many moles of stuff are in the canister. Alright, so we need power. This is the me learning how this thing works setup, so it is not being set up in an ideal location for cabling it to the rest of my base, but it is in a decent position for me to modify it if I've set it up wrong, and also not destroy my base. So I'll probably, once I've got this to a level where I'm like, yeah, I think I'm happy. I think I've got the idea of this. I will probably go and build them on the far side over near the wind turbines. I just figured that would be an awkward place to work for the moment. Alright, let's turn this on. We got 5 moles. So people were saying before somewhere around 50 is the safe zone. So I guess if I get 50 moles into that canister, I should be okay. Although that might have been a smart canister. So maybe we'll start lower. Start really quite low with the volatiles and work up once we see how it goes. I know you're saying 70, but other people said 50, so I'm not going to 70, especially if you might be talking about smart canisters. Because basically, the hotter this gas gets, the more it's going to expand, the worse. Because I think, yeah, the pressure will modify. And I don't want it to do that. Right, so that's probably enough for now. So, currently empty. Since I know that this is actually better than I thought, I'm going to get rid of those. And that. Do that. Pressure regulator on. And let's go to 100 first. See how many moles that is. 100 at the current temperature is just shy of 2 moles. So I can go up quite a bit higher than that. So that should be about 20 moles. And that should be about 40 moles. 70 works in a regular, the machine pulls it internal. Okay. I'm playing hardcore mode here, so I'm going to give myself a safety margin beyond that. I don't need optimal, I need safe. I need to not die. I know you guys want me to explode, I know, but it's funnier if I explode while trying not to than exploding while trying to. Because, you know, it's not it's not the same feeling when it's like, well, that was expected, that was intended, as I tried everything and it still didn't work. Alright, so that's 38. We'll still go a bit higher than that. Day 67 I am on. Do a little bit of a celebration when I reach day 100 or something. Yeah, exactly. Blowing myself up while cooking potato is much more amusing. And surprising. Okay, so that canister is ready, so we can turn the pump off. Now, what I need here is to take that. The output. Is this going to be a bit like some of the other output things where I want to have gas volume in it, or is it going to be fine if it's low volume? That's something I need to figure out. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need more pipe.
Hydration critical.
And apparently I'm thirsty anyway. Yeah, Jokton, I've well and truly cleared the 30-day goal, which I'm quite proud of myself for. Felt like that was quite an achievement for me to have reached this point. At some point, when the Stirling engine and some mining is sorted, I should probably also look at getting more plants so I can get some more oxygen made in here. Because I'm going to reach the point where that's going to be my bottleneck. The plant... I didn't go inside for eating and drinking, I went inside for pipe. Why did I forget that? I don't know if the survived only on potatoes thing has happened. Because I can't remember the last day that I ate a boneless cereal bar. Survive eating only potatoes for 30 days. I do not have. I guess I can go check on the water volume. Aha! My centrifuge is full. Time to make a mess. Ah, glorious mess. I do love the duality of making a mess with pipe while making a mess with ores. It's brilliant. Doubly messy. What am I doing? Checking the water. So I think I've still got enough to get through this stream. Yeah, it's gonna be starting to get tight. I will need a trader to sort some of that out soon. A couple more. So I think I ate a sand, like one of those bars at like day 28 or something. So I've got quite a long way to go before I get the potatoes only achievement. Oops. That's most of that cleaned up, and now it's daytime again. Boo! And jetpack. So I'm gonna make this setup manual. Is my intention. Because I need to understand what's required before I can have any clue what I need to do to program it. Where's the power output on it? Wait, where is the power output on it? Is that where it delivers power from? So it doesn't need any input at all. Makes sense. I guess it is a generator. Okay, so in that case, I need to run heavy cable all the way back over to my batteries. Oh. Let's take that out of there before it explodes from getting too hot. And we've got quite hot, so... And definitely hot enough that the volatiles won't condense, so that's also good. So I need to plug this in. Set inward, turn on. 800 degrees Celsius. It's pretty good. You put down an APC or a charger as a test load. Yeah, I could probably get an APC. I've got one inside, so that's probably not a bad idea. I was trying to think what test load I could use, and that's probably a good one. Alright. That'll do for now. I'll go grab that APC that I've got inside. I think an empty station battery, while that technically has some advantages, because it's bigger and I can dump more into it, the fact that it loses all its charge when I move it kind of makes it suck. Whereas if I use a power controller and a regular battery, I can take that battery and actually utilize that charge a bit. So that's kind of nice. I grab that battery and I swap it out for my suit.
Waste tank critical. Air tank critical.
Fill them up again. Actually, while I'm doing this, let's just check. What's the... Oh, that's venting. Okay. Because I think I might need to fill this up a bit more again. Yeah, that's getting a bit low. That is why these are taking so long to fill. There is enough pressure in here that I could steal some of the oxygen. What in the complexity is going on here? I don't know where to start with an answer to that. I am attempting to survive on a planet that is orbiting a black hole that is creating extreme temperature shifts throughout the day and through between the seasons. I think that's the most succinct way that I can put it. Yes, while living off potatoes. Alright, let's put the heavy cable here. Going into my battery. And in theory, that should be all I need. I'm guessing I want to wait now till nightfall, so there's a temperature differential between that and the general atmospheric temp. And then I can give this a run and see how it goes. You've played the tutorial of this game like 10 times and noped out after each time. Fun game though. Yes, it is a fun game. And I like to think that my more recent playthroughs have probably not been too bad a place for people to get started with Stationeers. Seeing what I do and the rationale behind what I do and the fact that I can actually get going relatively well these days. I've done the start enough times again that I feel like I could possibly do tutorials after the terrain update. Stationeers is a tricky game to make video tutorials on though, because the devs are quite prodigious in coming up with updates and things that change how the game works. And so it kind of outdates your tutorials fairly quickly. Alright, so we've got a temperature differential now. So let's swap that battery, pop you in there, flick that on, and let's turn you on. Hot side, 1001 Kelvin, 1010. Cold side, 764. Generating 260 watts, 280 watts, 290, 300. How high is this going to get? I should probably open that. That was getting quite high pressure. So it's going to go through the gas quite quickly, it looks like. But generating 2.2 kilowatts right now. So that's doing kind of middle of the day, almost at the moment, 5 solar panels, because my panels aren't perfectly efficient with the sun being as low as it is. So if I can put in enough gas that this can work overnight, it should go okay. Is this more challenging than Space Engineers? It's less forgiving. The challenges are different. But Stationeers is less forgiving of your mistakes. But that's honestly a big part of its charm, is that it is so unforgiving of your mistakes. Because it means that the game doesn't need an antagonist other than you. You are your own antagonist. Yeah, how hot is it coming out here? You can loop the hot gases to get more power and then expel them when they cool down too low. Yeah, I'm guessing that's going to be how I would have to run it once I have an automated system, so that the pumps run when the temperature is above a certain value, and then the vent empties when it gets below a certain value. So the Stirling engine stops running. But that's cool. I have made one that works. This functions. Me, I'm the antagonist. Is that like in Wrong Way Out? Maybe. Why does the Stirling engine look like a 3D printer though? Because the Stirling engine works by moving pistons through thermal expansion of the working material. And those pistons are turning a turbine, which then generates power. So this game is also 100% sandbox. Yep. All sandbox all the time. Now, I need to buy more water. What traders do I have? Seeds. I should possibly buy some more seeds before you go. So let's see if I can sell some of that stuff that I just got from my deep mining. You want all the usual stuff. Which is a bit annoying to sell because then I know I'm going to have to mine this stuff. But I also need... Do I need the seeds yet? I don't think I need any other seeds yet. Do I? Hmm. At one stage, I think they were contemplating having, like, enemy aliens that you had to kill, which is why there are weapons in the game. But the design ethos and, like, the design goals of the game have evolved with the game. As certain elements of it got better, things like that seemed less necessary. It didn't feel like it added to the game, so they got rid of it, which makes a whole lot of sense. Alright, I think I'm going to send away the seed trader and try and get a water trader, and then I'll sell as much as I need to buy the amount of water rather than selling any more materials than I need, because I still need the materials myself. I'm quite happy just living on potatoes. I mean, I am, my character isn't. But I do need more water, so I think that's the best way for me to do things. It's gonna roll off there anyway. Yeah. Deal with that in a minute. Yeah, the Stationeers isn't set up for having stuff mess with your things beyond you having not set them up correctly. It just... There would be so much frustration in having some little enemy come and chew through your wiring and you not notice it until too late. I think they made the right choice in just being like, yeah, no, we're not gonna have these things. It was an interesting idea at first, but it's not right for the game. Okay, what am I doing? I am contemplating how to set up the Stirling engines in an automated fashion, even if it's not efficient. So, what does my script need to actually do, and what equipment do I need to make it work? So the things that I would need are... I need the vent to pull gas in when the gas gets above a certain temperature, and another vent to open when the gas gets below a certain temperature. And the Stirling engines just to be on all the time. Do I need to get some power from it, a net positive power, do I need more than that? Yeah, okay. It's exactly. It's what Dean wants the game to be has evolved. Because stuff that might not have initially felt like it was enough has proven to be well and truly enough and really quite fun to play with. Like, to me, I think something that would be a nice, like the terraforming goal as a, I do hope they do as a DLC, because I think getting a bit of extra funding from Stationeers is, I think, quite reasonable. Which sounds weird, because, you know, free stuff is nice. But I think I'd like to see Stationeers be able to continue going for a lot longer, so if it can fund itself for a little while, that'd be good. But yeah, the terraforming goal as an end goal for survival is, I think, a really good one, because it's got a very clear goal in mind. It's got a very visible outcome, and works really nicely within the Stationeers framework. Something else that I think could be fun would be a Stationeers equivalent of the hospitality mod from RimWorld, where instead of these traders just being robots that come along, and I don't actually have a window that can see them, and just stand there waiting forever. You can also have traders or people who come as visitors, and you need to provide them a room and food and water and entertainment. And it gives you more other reasons to explore a different aspect of building your base. That's a lot more, that's probably more complicated than terraforming, because you need them to have a path and things like that. But I imagine there could be ways you could get around some of those problems. That sounds far more complex than what I was imagining, Shadow Drake. I am not thinking that complex. I am thinking a vent to pressurize the tank/pipes, and I'll put a lot of inline tanks on the pipe network so that it equalizes with the tank more quickly, and then a valve for releasing that gas once it's cooled down below useful levels. Pump turns on when above a certain amount, turns off when the pressure reaches a certain amount. Valve goes open when the temperature drops below a certain level. And that's it. I'd be more inclined to daisy chain the generators and just dump the waste. That does have its advantages, Andy, absolutely. Rather than looping, because then I'm not having to worry about dumping the waste, because the waste will always get dumped, and then I can just worry about filling the tank when the external temperature is higher than the tank temperature, or the pipe temperature. Yeah, I can see that works. That definitely has some advantages. Yeah. Simpler. Much simpler. Probably less efficient, but simpler. Yeah, exactly, Daz. That's exactly what I was thinking. You could deal with pathing issues by having to lay a visitor's path like the shuttle's runway. So the visitors go along this path, they go through this and presumably the visitors shouldn't go through an airlock. And then you can just do things that way. Okay, so I do need a tank then, because I definitely want to at least have... Do I have enough to make a big tank? I do. Should I make a big tank? I probably don't need a big tank for the moment, and I can upgrade the tank later, so I'll just make a smaller one. Nope, that's the wrong type of tank. Oh. Insulated tank. Let's make that one instead. I need to turn the Stirling off when it's... Okay. When it isn't nighttime. So yeah, I could... I could link it with a daylight sensor or just a temperature sensor. I think temperature differential is probably a better way to work it. So we've got a tank. We'll start with just one Stirling engine, and I can expand the setup later. But I think having one just for some power input, especially when my batteries are actually looking great with the amount of solar I've got at the moment, rather than spending ages on that. But I want to make sure that I've got room for expandability. Yeah, temperature is better because of storms. Yep. So I might just... So I need something to sense the external temperature. So I need a pipe analyzer. Which needs some electrum, which I've got lying around here. Probably gonna need 2 of these because I need one to analyze... Or I could use a gas sensor, couldn't I? So use a pipe analyzer because I don't want to use the tank because the tank is too slow to equalize. And then I'll use a gas sensor. Which I have to make in the electronics printer. Anything else I need from this before I dump everything out? Who knows? The tank doesn't equalize quick enough. Well, I mean, it probably does for this purpose. The tank probably does equalize quicker, but with my fuel mixer, I was very unhappy with how slow the tank equalized with the pipe network. So I'd prefer to use a pipe analyzer to avoid any potential issues. King, I don't know that I don't get necessarily the feeling that they're going to go straight to working on rovers after the terrain update. I think they're going to work on terraforming. I reckon. But I think the way the Rocket Works work on Stationeers is mostly do what's going to be most interesting. And that changes. Frames and sheets, yep. Need to do that. Steel frames. Yeah, Shadow Drake, I can appreciate why a lot of people would want the rovers. I find it hard to... I don't know. There's a lot of work needed to make rovers feel useful. And it just doesn't, which I know this sounds really strange coming from me because I am usually so pro making rovers in games. I guess I still have memories of how useless they were and pointless they were. And so that's kind of coloring my feelings on whether they should be worrying so much about making them. Yes. No, King, this is a different Vulcan save. I finished my Venus run, was happy with where I got it to, and so I decided to start a brutal start conditions Vulcan solo to see if I could get the 30-day achievement. And I have. And now, I'm seeing if I can make a little hotel. Because someone suggested I do make a hot tub resort. Basically making rooms with pools of water on Vulcan. And I thought that was a really cool concept. So even if I don't manage to do it before the terrain update, it is something I want to do. Yeah, but Shadow Drake, what can you see in a rover that you can't see in a jetpack? It's a different experience, sure, but in terms of seeing? And again, space engineers all over rovers, even though I know I can do all those things with a jetpack, usually more efficiently and more quickly. Yeah, Yamino, I hope that's the route that they go with the reason to have rovers, is having regionally confined concentrations of resources so that deep miners can get all the things everywhere, but, you know, you might be down to a yield of, say, 1% for cobalt in some areas, or even lower than that. Whereas other areas you might get as high as 10%. So there's motivation, but it's not required for you to build deep miners in other areas. Something like that I think would be quite fitting for Stationeers.
Power low.
And I'm not arguing against, like, rovers. I just kind of... I'm struggling to... I'm struggling to feel like they should be prioritized. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not doing a very good job of saying it. Which is weird, because saying things is sort of the only thing I do here. But that's kind of what I'm trying to say, I think. Basically, I guess I don't want to see rovers before they're actually adding something to the game. If the rovers are just there to be rovers, if they're there to show off how nice it is to drive across the new terrain, maybe I'm okay. Maybe that sounds fine. I don't know. It's just... yeah, it's hard. I'm gonna need more frames. Forgot that I needed to build this walkway around here. Yeah, it's... I want to... It's kind of like, I think I just naturally... Oops, didn't want to actually weld that up twice. I think I naturally go for... I don't want a feature added just because everyone's clamoring for it. After the number of people who still do push for, like, the water mod in Space Engineers to be a vanilla approach. It's like, no. No. Please do properly. Please don't do shortcutted method that does weird things. Please do properly. I guess it's kind of... in my head, it's sort of a similar thing with the rovers. If they're going to do it properly. And I'm pretty sure that's the approach that Rocketworks is going to take. See, Struwinkle, visitors I see as you've reached that point where you can now reconnect with civilization. That you're not alone. You've done all the things, you've prepped for them to come. It's an alternate goal for you to have achieved for survival. If you don't want to engage with them, then you don't have to. It's an option. It's just an optional end goal like terraforming. Lots of people who play these games, I think, are a bit like me, where they like being alone and the survival against the odds stuff. But once you have survived, it's really nice to be able to show it off to other people. Even if those people are fake, like, humanoid NPCs in your game. Yeah, once you're no longer the pioneer, it's kind of nice to be like, hey, look at this cool stuff I made. Look at all these things I did against the odds. Aren't I so clever and amazing? Here, stay in this beautifully decked out room that I made, working against those odds. And I say this with zero irony at all. This is literally how I feel about this stuff. I think that's a big driver for why I enjoy streaming this style of games so much, is because that instant feedback loop of, hey, I did a cool thing. You want to see this cool thing? I did a cool thing. Just gonna chuck some of this stuff on the ground so that it's out here already. Yeah, I'm thinking the traders, you can either contact traders or you can contact like a tourist agency who will send a tourist to you, who then stays and rates you. And if your room's not good enough, then you may not be able to get as good a trader after that. It's quite literally the hospitality mod from RimWorld. That concept, I'm just like, yeah, that'd be fun. But I'll admit, there is also a part of that mod that it's this nice end goal that I almost never reached. Like, I liked having the mod, but I almost never did anything with it. It was more like this nebulous concept that I really liked, but then other aspects of the game stopped me. Whereas I feel like in Stationeers, because you don't have raids coming like clockwork, and literally like clockwork, it's got so much more potential for me to actually reach the point where I could have those sorts of rooms. And I like decorating in games like this. I like making the food more than the hosting for big family events in Yuki World. The hosting bit, I'm much happier just making and serving fun food and fancy food for my family than I am actually doing the hosting. Yeah. But I do enjoy making food for people. Yeah, it's the look what I did here thing. It is 100% that. Yep. But also I really enjoy seeing people enjoying something I made. Hearing reading the comments on the Scrapyard mod, for example. And the fun that's added to Space Engineers for people is really satisfying. Just in and of itself. That'll do. Did I miss your one, Crassus? If I did, thanks for 37 months. And thank you, Blazer and Pinhole, for the Prime subs. No, they're on. Pinhole, if I'm in the middle of a thought and I don't want to break my train of thought, I wait till after it before I do anything about subscribe, notifications and things. And I don't have on-screen notifications. I never have. I don't like them. As it was made complete with the addition of ACS. ACS is another one of my mods, Struwinkle, for Space Engineers. Assertive Combat Systems. I'm glad, Danny. I would love to do more with ACS. I'm just not sure I'll have the time before I'd be better off putting that time into Space Engineers too. I learned how to use a Stirling engine. That's what I've gotten done. Grab that. Pop it in there. Okay. Now, need to rip this all up and move it. Now that I've done my testing. Set outward on. Vent this so I don't explode things, and I think it's already vented. Cool. So, on the topic of SE2 modding, Nev and I, for those of you who know who Nev is, you will be pleased by this. Nev and I have already talked and agreed that both of us really want to work early on with Space Engineers 2 on making a scrapyard mod for it. With him doing the clever stuff and me doing the pretty stuff. Yes, when a server has assert ships, they're using my mod. Yes, that's correct. So yeah, that's something I'm very excited to do because Nev's ideas for it are fan-freaking-tastic. Because he wants to build a custom solution for it, not something piggybacking on a mod that wasn't really intended to be used the way that I was abusing it. So hopefully, Space Engineers 2 lets us do that. But that'll be once there's a survival mode in the game. there's no point doing it before then. I should break down the Stirling engine to move it. So yeah, I would want to port the concepts over to Space Engineers too. Oh, battery's dead. Yeah, Dapper Dragon, I'm not a big fan of Industrial Overhaul for SE. It's not my way. It's not the way I like to play Space Engineers. It's the way a lot of people dream they could play Space Engineers because it, like anyone who's very heavily into factory games, it scratches an itch for them. But it's not an itch that I need scratched. So it's not really for me.
Waste time caution.
Did anyone else notice what looked like a drip coming down from the ceiling? Concerning.
Waste time critical. Airtime critical.
Did I make the cookies I was talking about during Pulsar? No, Danny, I haven't yet. I might make them next week and take them to my students. Take some of them along to them, because that way I can make a bigger batch and not eat them all. Yeah, I hope it was just an atmospheric distortion weirdness. Hopefully. Stand by for blammo. There shouldn't be any blammo. I think I know what I'm doing. Ish. The annoying thing is going to be making the script. Alright, that'll do. Wait for the round number. Alright, so, Stirling engine going here. Nope, wrong way around. Thanks, Papa Tim. Thank you for 16 months. 4/3 of a year. What? Oh. That is an uncomfortably accurate way to say that. I also hate myself for instantly knowing that you'd said it correctly. Okay, that's the way around I want it. So, what I'm going to do at first is just have the single Stirling engine set up. And we'll pump gas into here, and we'll just have it venting out. When I am ready to, I'll add another Stirling engine that's hooked up to the vented out gas, and it'll just vent out to nothing. And then I'll add another one, and then... That was getting loud really loud behind my head. And then I'll probably not want to expand that loop, but rather duplicate the setup for another one. Although, I do wonder how much I'm really going to need to get power from the Stirling engines. Right, rotated, I can use a single pipe to chain. Yeah. 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 Yeah, alright. I'm probably not going to go single, I'll go more than that, because I like having more space. But yes, you're right. These are a rare device in Stationeers where the input lines up to the output. I have an exam that includes alloys, metals, and each time you mention Invar, I think 30% nickel, and hate myself for it. Yeah. It took about... I think it took about 10 years from when I was studying horticulture before I stopped thinking of every single plant that I knew the scientific name for. Every time I saw them, like just looking at it, I'd be like, oh yeah, yeah. Because there were 50 different common plant species that I had to know the scientific and common names for. And so practicing that, we'd just walk around campus and be like, that's that, that's that, that's that, that's that. And breaking that habit from my brain took a long time. Alright, passive vent. Now we need these little guys. How much... Is it possible that I could end up with a throughput issue? Where the first Stirling engine is pushing through more gas than the next one can handle, and therefore I need a bit of a buffer for it. Okay. No, good. It's like playing video games then stepping outside thinking, oh, that reflection looks like stray chest. I've never had that, but I have had the situation where I was playing a lot of GTA, and I then got in my real world car and went, wow, this ride feels rough. I was like, yeah, it's probably not how I want to be. That's probably not anything to do with the car's ride, more the fact that I've been staring at a screen driving for ages and ages and have not had a single actual bump to deal with.
Power low.
Yes. I do not drive... Even at my dumbest, riding a motorbike, I still didn't ride it like I would ride or drive in GTA 5. No, I am not alluding to accidentally hijacking cars. That is not a thing that's... No. Hmm. All right. So that's plugged. Then, because this is going to be a script, I need to run another cable back and have it powered up. Gas sensor can sit there. I just need to connect these. They don't need power, so then I could just have the IC10 just sitting there. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, Richard, playing driving games when you're very tired, when you're reading chat, so it's very much like reading a text, is a very good way to remind yourself of why doing anything like that is an awful idea in the real world. Like, the number of times I crashed playing Euro Truck Simulator while reading chat is a very good reminder of why you should not read a text while driving. I will probably set up a system like this more permanently somewhere over near the thing. But I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. Alright, where is my area power controller? I threw in here. Alright, I need to make a battery. Cool. I'm making more progress towards this Stirling engine than I expected. So, now I need to make housing, steel and solder. Then I need to make the chip. And then I probably need a laptop. Where does laptop get made and what does it cost? Okay, I can make one. Cool. Because using the standard computer for programming IC10s, it's not my preferred way of doing things. It does have some advantages. I was watching Avak playing on his moon save, and he had it set up so that he had a computer set up properly connected so that you could mess with the script and just update it in situ. You didn't have to take the chip out and do the things, which is kind of nice, but I think for me I prefer the laptop for most of the way I do things. Because I don't do them sensibly. Starbase? Yeah, it did. It was also create your own universe, MMO, which is not a good idea. That phase where that gaming went through where everything had to be user-generated content for MMOs was just not smart. Because it's just... it just doesn't work. The people who are going to create stuff aren't ever going to create enough stuff to make up for the people who destroy stuff. Takes longer to build a sandcastle than it does to destroy one. I have no idea where my potato is, so I'm going to cook a new one. Yeah. Wait, can I put... No. It's like, can I store it in the microwave? Yeah, having a computer set up to tweak is certainly... seems like it has some pretty solid advantages. Right. I'm going to... pop this off, and I'm going to put some of this oxygen into this tank. There we go, that's going up. Yeah, I think a lot of the drive that people had for making games that was supposed to have user-generated worlds was the fact that it's really expensive to build a world, and it takes a lot of time. It's like, yeah, but if you don't have a world, players aren't going to want to play in it. I think the suit lady ever gets a sore throat. I mean, I do a lot of things that probably annoy the suit lady. Does always make me think of rigs in the Rift Breaker. Okay, that's going to be quicker. So I need more oxygen. It is so annoying how slow this is to fill. I need to put what I should do is go make a little inline tank and put it in this segment here. Or steal one of them from one of these other spots where they're not really needed. Like this one. I don't think that one's really needed. Because then I'd actually have a larger volume before I pop this in. I might do that. No, Dapper Dragon, those are not user-generated worlds. Those are managed worlds where the user has impact. When I'm talking user-generated worlds, I'm meaning they don't even have NPCs. Everything is player. They're like using it as sell point. Everything is player-generated. The entire universe is up to you. It's like, what, you mean it's empty? Empty's fine if you give me a place where no one's gonna no one's gonna destroy everything I make. Alright, I'd like to get this up to maybe like 6 megapascals. So I think the pressure in this room will take it. See you, Wolfside. Fell for the hype around dual universe. Yeah, I would have absolutely fallen for all those things had I not burned out on Eve due to being addicted to Eve. I think a lot of my risk to games like that was substantially mitigated by the disastrous way I played Eve. So I'm instantly very skeptical when I'm dealing with anything that's related to an MMO. No, I do not want to heat my base up to 60 degrees, thank you very much. I'm quite happy with it being at a comfortable 23, although 23 is hotter than it should be. I probably need to deal with my heat, my cooling tank overnight. This is probably long enough. I didn't want to leave everything just running here, because I felt like if I leave all this running, I'm creating a problem for myself later. A safety issue. Oops. Okay, that's empty. Turn it off. Alright, cool. This will hopefully fill more quickly in the future. It's still slow at the top end. That's good enough though. Daylight is going. Let's get some water and food before I walk outside. Mmm, delicious floor potatoes. No, do not try and distract me enough to leave my pneumatic drill on so that everything explodes in here when I turn the microwave on. That would not be good. Alright, so battery needs gold, which means I need to go out and smelt some. Make a spare tank to swap in the filler. Yeah, that's really what I should do. You're absolutely right, Morbus. That's what I should have. 100%. Gold. Gold I can smelt in anything. In you go. What temperature at? Yeah, we're at iron temperatures. Do I need more iron? Probably. And I may as well throw some copper through.
Power critical.
Power critical. That's not what I want to hear. Alright. Back inside. Yeah. Probably should have captured some hot gas while I was out there, but I don't know. I don't even think I've got the vent set up. So I need to do that too. Too many things. Not enough memory. Need to just make the batteries. I will be right back. I need to take another quick bio break. That. I will eventually get around to automating the cold tank, don't worry. I think getting the Stirling engine sorted and then do that next. Although my plan had been to automate it once I'd actually built a new setup for it, which I may do. Because, yeah, it's not good. IC10. Make a chip. Oh yeah, actually I don't want to automate any parts of it until I do the stuff with condensing the pollutants and then using those condensed pollutants to provide additional cooling for it. So yeah, I'll deal with that later. Kick that can further down the road. Ha! Ah, Tuba Mage. You believe that I could write something that is an airlock script that automatically closes my helmet? That's funny. There's just so many different layers of complexity there. No. No, 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 no. Did the garbage truck get finished? Almost. Almost. Is that the right way round for this? No. It needs to go that way. Oh, that needs power. Does that need power? That needs power. Okay, I have to do a loop around. Then my active vent I need. I think having a pipe... Wait, what did I do? Oh, it's in my inventory. Dang it. I thought I'd left it on the ground. I like the idea of using pipe analyzers rather than devices on the network for a lot of pipe analysis. Largely because I think it gives me more capacity to use this script elsewhere. So that this isn't the only environment I can use it in. If I always use the device, then I feel like it's less flexible. I'm probably wrong there, but it just feels that way. Because it means I always have to set it up such that the device is detecting the correct bit and blah blah blah. Okay. So we have vent. We have analyzer. I mean, because the vent, I think, can detect the pressure in there and stuff anyway. No, the garbage truck hasn't been forgotten because of the trip to Prague. The garbage truck, it's just... Oh, I need a coding motherboard. I forgot the motherboard. That'd help. The garbage truck is a thing I just haven't had time to work on. Despite kind of wanting to. It's because I am trying to finish my... Wait, I should have a IC editing motherboard somewhere around here. There we go. It's because I'm trying to finish up my economy only series playthrough. Get to the point where I'm happy that that's done, and each episode of it is requiring insane amounts of recording time. And once I get it out of the way, I think I'll have a lot more time to do a lot of the work on a lot of the other things that I want to. I can probably swap one of these small batteries for the laptop because the laptop doesn't actually use any power. I can cheese it. Okay, so device 0 will be the vent. No, will be the sensor? No. Analyzer, sensor, vent. Then the Stirling engines will need to be accessed via hash. And that should be it. Also, that was not 1, 2, and 3. That was 5, 4, and 3. Fine, I'll just do vent, sensor, analyzer. Yeah, now that I've looped this, I think I might flip this around just because I'm always going to look at it the other way. Vent, sensor, analyzer. What the? Oh, does the motherboard store the last thing that was worked on? Interesting. Very interesting. Alias. String will be active. Let's just call it vent. D0, alias. Gas sensor. D1, alias pipe. I'm just going to call it sensor. D2. There's also something that I picked up, which I thought was quite a neat little thing. Again, from watching some of Avak playing this. When you alias something or when you define something, putting the type of thing it is, whether it's a device, a hash, or a register. I think I'd just stick to device or register. But I guess there's value in the hash because then you use hash commands. No, probably all three actually. So, what are we wanting information-wise from this? What does this code need to do? This code needs to bring in hot gas up to a certain temperature, up to a certain pressure. So it needs to know when that gas is hot. So we need to load into, let's go. Is it alias with registers? Yeah, it is. Alias the external temperature? No. X temp into R0. Alias. I don't need to worry about tank temp. So I just need tank pressure. R1. Then, yeah, Shadow Drake, that's kind of the temperature I was thinking. I was thinking around 600 Celsius, but this uses Kelvin, which means I need 873. Okay, so that's those, and then I'm also going to want the hash for the Stirling engines. So how do I do the hash define thing again? It's define, is it? Is hash define? Yeah. H Stirling. Archer. Number. Or do I need to do that? That's all I need to do because I'm not using the text, right? Okay, so load into ext temp the degas sensor temperature. So that's going to get my external temperature. And then I'm going to create pain for all of you by not using booleans. Because it's still it's that extra layer of I have to think it through that I struggle with, that I don't do. The game is paused right now, so no storm. So, once we've got the temperature, I basically want to how do I... There's a set command. Is it set? Oh, I don't remember. Also, why isn't this working? So basically what I'm trying to do is when the temperature is above this, do this. So what I need to do is compare set less than. Why isn't my search working? Do I actually have to hit enter? I thought it was automatic, like the other one. Source register value to logic type on all output net. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I want to do the set less than? What am I doing? Yeah, SLT, that's what I'm looking at. So, Z less than. Register equals 1 if... So, I want it set greater than. Okay, so that's what we do first. So, set greater than. Which will be... R15 if... A is greater than B. R ext temp is greater than... What did I say? I'll say 850. Because it's in Kelvin. So if external temperature is greater than 850, it will then have that register set to 1. So then I can set batch H Archer logic type on R15. No, that's the wrong thing. I don't want set batch. I want set the vent on R15. There we go. So that's going to turn on my vent when the temperature, external temperature is above 850. But I need to turn off, I need this to not even be activated if the pressure in the tank is higher than a set safe value. So I'm going to have a little, I think I'm going to set this as a loop because it'll make sense to me. So I also want to load, I should probably want to do that first. Load the tank pressure from the pipe sensor pressure. Yeah, 850 Kelvin's about what I want. I want something that's close enough to 600 degrees Celsius, but give myself a little bit of clearance. It's around that sort of margin. It'll mean it'll always be hot enough to produce some power. I'm not going for maximum efficiency here. So I want to load that, and then I want to... I want to loop this part if the pressure is low. I don't want it to do any of the others. If the pressure is high, I don't want it to do any of the other things until the pressure is lower. Because, although I do want it to turn on the engines if the pressure is too high. Arrgh! I'm using that. Oh, yeah, that's true. If I'm using the active vent, I can just set the max pressure and not worry about it, and it'll waste power. But it's at least not ever going to overpressure and explode. There was some people in chat were saying earlier there is a reason for the engines to be off. That apparently it can, if it's working against the wrong temperatures, it will end up making things bad. Yeah, I think I need to branch this. Branch greater than. Branch greater than is what? See if A is greater than B. See if R tank press. That is greater than. I don't want noisy pipes, so we'll just do that. Then jump to. This would be Stirlings. So, this first section is hot tank. Nope, no space. Hot tank. So we got hot tank, we check the pressure. If the pressure is over 30 megapascals, we'll jump down to the Stirlings. And then if it's not, we'll load the temperature. If the temperature is above 850 Kelvin, the vent gets turned on. If it's not above 850, it'll be set to off. Then we go to the Stirlings, and the Stirlings will turn on when, so we want to, we still have the external temperature. So I want to set greater than, no, set less than. R14. I know I can probably use R15 again, but I like having them as different ones in case I do weird things like reordering stuff. So it'll be Rx temp versus how cool do I want it to be before I start turning these on? Probably less than like 250 Celsius? 200 maybe? So if I go 500 degrees, that's like 227-ish. 226 point something. Yeah. Set less than. So if the temperature is less than 500, this will set that to on. So then I can do set batch H Archer on R14. And then yield and jump to start. So let's just run through my logic again. Make sure I have decrease the chance that I have messed something up. So we've defined all the things. We load the tank pressure from the pipe sensor. And if the tank pressure is less than 30,000, we continue on to load the temperature from the gas sensor. Nope. We load it anyway. So if it's below 30,000, we get down to here. We check if it's hot enough outside. If it's hot enough, the vent turns on. If it's cool enough, the vent turns. If it's cool, the vent turns off, because this register will change dependent on its relationship to this, not just being set one way or the other, which is why it's nice to do it this way. Yep, cool. So that will turn it on or off depending on the temperature. And then we get down to the Stirlings. The Stirlings will turn on when it gets below 220 something degrees Celsius. Or they'll turn off if above that temperature. And then we yield and we jump back to start and do it again. I think this works. What's turning off the vent? This, the external temperature. Oh, what's turning it off if the tank pressure is high? Yeah. Yeah. Hang on, I gotta think that through. Hmm. So if the pressure's too high, I want it to turn the vent off. If the Stirlings are getting turned on, I want the vent off. I think getting rid of this actually makes sense. And we go to active vent. Pressure internal, I think. And in this, we go set vent pressure internal 30. There we go. So that's the safety on the vent now set. So I don't have to worry about the safety. I just need it to turn off when the temperature's wrong, which it should do now, because this will just loop through that. You would do an AND of tank pressure and temp. Yeah, yeah. I can see how that works. This should work now anyway, because I've now removed that from my logic, because it's just set. No, tank pressure doesn't need to be loaded anymore. So we load the temperature. If the external temperature is higher than 850, the vent turns on. If it's lower than 850, the vent turns on. If the external temperature is lower than 500, the Stirling engines turn on. If it's higher than 500, they turn off. So the different temperatures, because they're different ranges, I could drop this even further if I wanted to drop it down closer to the 126. But I think having it running sometimes, I am not paused. Maybe we go to 450. I need a calculator. 273 plus 126. 399. So yeah, we'll go 420. That'll work. I'm happy for it to turn on earlier. 450. Okay. That should do the things. Why is my character isn't 202 degrees Celsius? It is 202 degrees Celsius outside my suit. So that's external there, and then internal up here. So in my suit, it's 34 degrees Celsius. Yeah, this I think should work. So we've set up pressure of the vent so we can forget about pressures. We load our temperature from outside. We compare that to 850, turn the vent on appropriately for that. Compare it to 450 and turn the arches on. Turn the arches on relative to that, and that should work. Cool. Export. Need to go get that battery. Yeah, I could get rid of the pipe sensor. It's true. At least turn it off and not use the power. So the vent is on because it's above the temperature. And the Stirling engine is off because it's above the temperature. No. Oh, the vent's set to the wrong mode. There we go. That's going to work better. It's awful hard to write your own code while someone is talking through the logic on theirs. Yeah, I can imagine it would be quite difficult to write code while I'm messing with code on this end. I imagine that would be very tricky. True, changing the mode will change the pressure setting, but by turning this on and off again, it should fix it. I think. That's right, isn't it? When I turn this on and off again, it starts from the top and does all the defines again. Do I have to reseat it, or do I just have to... This will eventually get replaced by heavy cable, but at the moment it's coming from a transformer that's connected to my base's batteries, and I would want my base's batteries feeding into this, not the Stirling engines and other things directly feeding into this. Because that doesn't work, because batteries have a weird prioritization setup that I have to avoid. Off and on is enough. Cool. Because I don't want to go inside and get my analyzer thing. Alright, I should go inside anyway, because I need to do the thing. I think I might set up a quick script for the cooling setup. Now that I've done that, I actually realize how simple it's going to be to set up something that works okay. I might steal the pipe analyzer for that. Or do I just use a gas sensor? No, I do need the pipe analyzer for that. Alright. Oh, I do have to reseat it? No. I'm getting mixed messages. But I do need to write something quick for the cooling one. No, I'm not going to move my cooling setup over there for the moment. I'm just going to write something quick, and then I can decide what I'm going to do next, which is, I think I'd like to improve my mining setup, because I really want to just get more resources. So that I can afford to sell them to the traders so that I can buy some water. No, cooling isn't just that, Shadow Drake, because I've got to also open if the stuff in the tank is too hot. It's going to be a bit... There's a bit more going on. I'm thinking what I do with the setup I've got over here. Do I have to use... I have to use some sort of digital valve, don't I? Can I make a digital valve? Yeah. Invar. Ugh. Oh, that's not good. I think I might have to do this in a bit of a bad way. I think I may have to just use the active vent to push and pull gases from it. Which I guess if I do that, it should be okay because the vent's going to be doing stuff every single night. So I should end up with a good enough outcome anyway. Yeah. Yeah. The reason I wasn't using the active vent previously was that I couldn't have it running all through the day to dump stuff out because I forgot about it, basically. But because I'm not going to forget about it, because I'm not actually doing it, it'll be fine.
Air tank critical. Waste tank critical.
Yep, I'm just going to do active vent and flip the orientation of it. So it goes in versus out. And I'm probably also going to just do this in a really lazy way in terms of piping. I hope that's that active vent. Are there more? Oh, poop. There are so many more. Okay, I need to isolate this circuitry. Okay, so it's only connected to that. Let's get this tank connected up. Okay. And small tank. There we go. Then I can hook this back up. Or I can put a random bit of cable in a weird way, because yay. Okay. So these are hooked up. D0 is the vent, D1 is the tank. Alright. Edit. I'm going to pause. I'm going to library, create new, and this will be Stirling. Gases, confirm, save. Alright, so then we can clear that, and we can go alias, vent, D0, alias, tank, D1. The vent can be a sensor, can't it? Or can it only... what can it read? No, it's not a sensor. I do need a sensor. Yep, you're right. I need to get a sensor. It's Stirling with an I. Although... I'm just going to call them... when I remember, I'm going to call them archers. Just because that's what I'm calling the variable, and it's... feels right. Sensor... This should be the only sensor on this network, hopefully. Hopefully. Probably? Gas sensor. Okay, back to laptop. Edit. I forgot to actually save it when I closed last time. So, alias. Vent, D0, alias, tank, D1, alias, sensor, D2. Let's try and stick to my newly discovered naming convention. So, load into alias temp. No, I want external temp. We 0 alias tank temp 1. Load into ext temp d sensor temperature. Load tank temp from the tank temperature. Okay. So I want to set greater than I think I need to do this pretty much the same way I did the other one, where I have a high temp for the tank that turns the vent to shove air out, and a low temp for the external sensor that sets it to go the other way. but I needed to not, but I'm not sure what it's going to do in the middle range. So I sort of only want it to run the one thing first. And I think I want it to empty the, no, I think I want it to put gas into the tank if it's cool. And then if the tank's gotten hot, switch. But don't do the tank switch if it's still cool outside. Oh, I don't know if that's the right way to do it. Is it going to matter in the long run? Is this going to effectively run well enough that it'll keep the tank at a cool temperature anyway? Let's just write this out and then I can hopefully puzzle out a usable solution. So, set less than, which is Rx temp is less than, where was my calculator? 273 plus 126. So it's less than 400. 400. Go R15. So that would mean if the external temperature is less than 400, we then set devent. Logic type will be mode. Which mode is which? Is mode 0 going sucking air in? Or is mode 0 blowing air out? Oh. Scroll up. Thank you. Mode outward. So I want it to set inward. So I want to set mode to 1. Set devent mode 1. No. Ooh. Mode R15. And set devent on to R15. Yes. Hmm. Because I also want the vent to be off when it's not needed to be on. I don't want the vent to do anything when it's off, when it doesn't actually need to do anything. So let's just do that, and then the other half of it will be set greater than R tank temp. If R tank temp is greater than, I think if it was over about, how many calculators have I opened up now? So 273, and I think if it was above about 220, so if it's, let's say 500, I'll call that R14, set devent mode. So this is going to need to be opposite. Because I wanted to turn it on. I think I want to do this as branching rather than a boolean, because I think that'll actually make it easier for me. Rather than trying to use these set less thans. Because I want it to do a few things. So I'm going to change this to branching. Branch less than. So if x, no. Branch greater than. If external temp is greater than 400, then I want you to jump to empty. And fill. So, branch greater than. That should be right, I think. Branch line C if A is greater than B. If external temp is greater than that, yep, that works. Then, if not, set mode to 1. And set on to 1. Then go to tank empty. Where if branch less than, if our tank temp is less than 500, go back to fill. Also, I should probably yield. So it'll just switch between the two, checking them, and it'll just keep checking them. But at fill, before we get into fill, I probably want to set the vent on 0. And probably the same at the start of fill. This is going to be ugly. That's not going to be nice. Otherwise, I do want it to turn it off. Every solution I come up with here is going to be really ugly. But still functional. Alright, we will not do that. I have another idea. So, if the tank temperature is less than 500, we go to off. If the vent, otherwise we turn mode to 1, mode to 0, and we set the vent on to 1. Otherwise we yield, then we go to off. Where I need to check both those things. So, Shadow Drake, my thinking is having this as an additional control of my cooling setup once I've got using the condensed pollutants might be useful, so that's why I thought I'd go through it anyway. So branch. Yeah, hang on. This is so ugly, but fine. If the Rx temp is greater than 400, so what are the conditions hang on, I just need to think through this. What are the conditions I want the vent to turn off in? I want the vent to turn off if the tank temperature is less than 500. So we'll start with that. Branch less than R tank. I want it to turn off if the tank temp is below 500. So branch greater than R tank temp 500, jump to fill. But I also, so I think I've got this right. It's basically doing the opposite of what I've done here. So if the tank temp is above 500, I want to go back to the start. Let's just call this start so it's not confusing later. And because I want to load the new values anyway. This was supposed to be simple. It didn't work out that way, did it? So, if the tank temperature is over 500, I want to go back to the start because I want the vent to turn on so that it can empty it. But I could just jump straight to empty rather than jumping to start, because that's telling it what to do, which it should have already done anyway. But I'm going to jump to start. And if the external temperature is less than 400, I also want it to jump to start. Otherwise, I want it to set vent on to 0. At which point it can jump back to start. After a yield. Yeah. Okay. I think that's okay. It's not as tidy as I might have liked it, but I think it looks like it should be all right. So let's say, for example, the external temperature is 450 Kelvin. So that would mean we load the external temperature is 450 Kelvin and the tank temperature is 600 Kelvin. The external temperature would mean it's greater than 450, so we'll jump to empty. Tank temperature is 600, therefore we will turn the mode to outward and we will turn the vent on. So that vent's now blowing gas out. The tank temperature is above 600, so we go back to start and it keeps the vent on until the tank temperature drops, at which point it'll turn it off because it won't clear that, but the external temperature is still too high, so it won't turn on the fill. I think this is okay. I think we're good. Okay, so it's blowing out the gas because it's way too hot. So the max pressure of the vents by default is safe. It's going to make creaking noises, but it is by default safe, but I could add those in, that's fair. And I'd have to add it after every single change to the mode. And it's internal, well actually I only need to set it after the fill mode. I don't need to worry about it on the other ones because the other ones are safe. So it will be pressure internal. So for fill, we'll also set vent pressure internal to 30,000. Confirm. There we go. Yeah, I'm finally automating the cooling loop because it's bad. It's so bad. I was never keeping track of it enough. But it should be working now. I don't think it's gonna work. Oh wait, I can make this quicker. It's currently trying to empty it, so let's empty it. Yeah, I could add another active vent to batch run it, but Should be fine. I should also have probably added in a, if tank pressure below this, then fill it. But I guess if the tank empties completely, it should effectively give it that value. Right? Maybe? See what happens when this reaches 0. Hopefully that switches over and fills because it doesn't read a temperature in the tank. Yeah. I mean, if it's reading the Atmos temp when it reaches that level, then that's fine as well, because the Atmos temp is what I want it to read. Because then it'll fill. Love it. Finding an edge case immediately. Delightful. It's going to take forever to empty it too. Do I want a minimum pressure in the tank? Not really, because the cooling is effectively not working right now anyway. So there's not really... I don't think there's a particular benefit to having a minimum pressure. The only thing that might be a problem is if the air conditioners don't restart once they have a medium to work against again. Or if I'm going to have to click restart on them because there's no medium to work against, then yes, I will need to set a minimum pressure. My hope is that once this is... Oh, delightful. It's just gotten hotter. Well, we've got a storm, so we've got a storm and a tank that's almost empty. So that's kind of perfect, because if the storm gets cool towards the end of a bit of its run, it should start filling. The tank is going to change air at night. Could you not just empty at sunset with solar tracker, then refill when empty? Yes, but it takes a long time. So I was trying to make something that would be more effective than that. The passive vent is closed, and this is actively blowing out, so there's nothing I need to do. I'm just waiting. I'm wanting to see what my code does when this reaches vacuum. Complete vacuum. As I don't know how it's going to handle that. And it is very nearly vacuum. And hopefully the storm temp is going to drop soon. If it doesn't, if the code breaks, I'm just going to try and fill this and then see if it will work anyway, because... At least we'll have something to work against. I wonder if I got my ranges wrong. I need to set them different. I'm thinking, how's this ever gonna work? Is it always going to, as soon as the tank gets over the pressure, it's always going to try and empty it completely, which is not what I want it to do. I want it to prioritize filling, but it's not prioritizing filling. It was prioritizing emptying, even when the temperature was low enough, and I would want it to prioritize filling in that circumstance. Yeah. I think you could be right, Sinzmac. I think that's what I need to change. Let's just quickly go in the airlock and change it. So what I need to do, instead of jumping to empty here after fill, we should probably go back to... No, that does need to go to empty. The external temp... No, I have got this the wrong way round. Branch line C if external temp is greater than 400. Or if I got the wrong value. Because the external temp was below that and it didn't do these and turn on. But then it went to... Oh, should we jump to start here? That's it. Thank you. That's what I needed to do. Confirm. Export. There we go, so now it hopefully will not have that problem. Come on, Storm, get colder. I need some gas in there. Theoretically, you could treat this like the furnace and cycle the air to bring it to the atmosphere's temp while maintaining pressure rather than doing a proper empty fill, right? Yeah, so the problems you're seeing here with the vent is why with the, with my cooling setup on Venus for the Venusian storms, that's why there I used radiators rather than vents because it ended up being better. I will be right back. I need to take a quick bio break. Okay, I did the smart thing. I paused the game because I remembered that I probably want to actually witness the storm, so let's... And its temperature's dropping. And seeing what happens. And yes, the floating capacs are back. Also... I am getting closer to the point of being able to update the stream rig. Upgrade it. I can't remember if I mentioned it on stream, but on the Discord, I've talked about how what I want to do is basically use any of the sponsored streams. So like the Roadcraft stream the other day, that sort of thing. Any of those, I want to use anything I can get from those for putting a little pool of funds together in order to upgrade the stream rig. Because that directly then feeds back into the quality of the content I can make, and I feel like that's a good way of using any sponsor revenue I get. And so I've got another one coming up, which will be, I think, at the second week of March for Farming Sim. And then I'm hoping I can get a few more and put that together. And what I want to do is, I think, get a 4060 and probably upgrade a couple of other bits, but then also get a... it's daytime, isn't it? Or is this storm just getting wild? I think winter storms do not get as cold. But that sky looks wild. The sun is up. That's quite cool. I don't normally think to go third person during a storm. Ugh, no Fluffy Shadow. No, so Twitch bounties were never available in Australia anyway, and they've just moved over to a weird sponsorship thing that's all with Stream Elements, and Stream Elements, bleh, bleh. I cannot make horrible enough noises to describe how terrible a company they are. And how terrible their sponsorships are. Because they're not even sponsorships, they're pay for getting your audience to pay more money towards terrible company. Thanks, Nilsteam. Thank you for Prime Sub. Yeah. Just so no. Yeah, Stream Elephants. Stream Elements? Stream Elements? No. Is it Stream Elements? Is that the... I think that's who it is. Let me just see. I think that's... Make sure I'm not slandering the wrong company. Yeah, Stream Elements. They're the people who do the terrible stuff with all those online games. Mobile games. Sorry. Not online games. Mobile games. Where it's like, you could earn up to $56,000 if you can convince this many hundreds of your viewers to go and spend this many hundreds of dollars on our terribly exploitative mobile game. So, ew. Not touching that. Yes. More teen sunshine heroes. Yeah, Fluffy Shadow. That is another game that those people that Stream Elements are partnered with, and runs on the same thing. And yes, it was the bounty thing is US only. The sponsorships still seem to be predominantly US only. Now they've moved over to the new system. Yeah, I don't begrudge the streamers that decide to do that, but I also will not do that.
Waste tank critical. Air tank critical.
I think you do your own brand a disservice by partnering with those companies. And you might notice that Nightbot doesn't do anything on my stream anymore. I don't have any particular issues with Nightbot, I just wanted to have my own. That I had more control over and could do more things. So that's why Reggie is now here. In Twitch chat. And I'm going to try and set up Reggie for YouTube chat for Wrong Way Out. But it takes a little bit more work to set up than other things. And yep, there you go. There's Reggie jumping in. To remind people that, you know what? Sometimes it isn't Capac's fault. Because sometimes it's Catpac's fault. No, I didn't do any bot coding. This is using streamer.bot. Where I just have to do stuff myself. Oh, that could be the carpenter. Let me just check before I wrap things up here, because if that is the carpenter, I will have to wrap things up. One moment, please. I will be right back. He's here early, so I'm going to have to call it a day here. I will be back on Sunday with some more Space Engineers with Shaq. And on Monday with some more Wrong Way Out. So there's all that and plenty more to come, and I will see you then. Sorry for wrapping up so quickly. See you, everyone. Bye.